So we'll finish up here with a little NHL draft talk. We had Owen Power go first overall to the Buffalo Sabres. There was a little debate over whether that would happen. It did. We had Luke Hughes go to the Devils, reunification of the Hughes brothers. That will be definitely something awesome to watch. But the big story of the night was the Canadiens drafting Logan Mailloux, 31st overall. If you don't know his story, he played in the Swedish Hockey League last year. He was on loan from the OHL. He was fined by the Swedish police for sharing a sexual photograph of a female partner without her consent. It was consensual sex, but this obviously he shared this picture around, which you can't do. He was fined by Swedish police. NHL teams were asking about this during the process. There was lots of headlines about it. So Logan Mailloux decided to come out and say, I don't want to be drafted this year. I'd like to renounce my draft eligibility. You technically can't do that. So he was eligible to be drafted, but he made it perfectly clear that he wants to go back to the OHL. He wants to work on his character and really learn from this episode. And he didn't want to be drafted. The Montreal Canadiens proceeded to draft him anyway, 31st overall, much to the dismay of, really people all across the hockey world and beyond, up to the levels of Justin Trudeau, the Canadian Prime Minister, voiced his dismay at this draft pick. 5 days after the draft, so Mark Bergevin did come out with a statement right after the draft. 5 days after the draft, Jeff Molson, the owner of the Canadiens, finally comes out with a statement. Coincidentally, right in the middle of free agency frenzy, maybe the busiest news day of NHL calendar year. Take that as you will. And he says he takes full responsibility. He repeated, shame on me for doing this. And he said that Mailloux would not be at training camp in the fall. So, I mean, to me, guys, this just seems like a really easy situation that you could have avoided. The guy asked not to be drafted. I'll go to you, Mike. Why would you draft him? Like,
you don't. I mean, especially with all the investigations still going on and him. I understand that you can't formally take yourself out of the draft, but if a kid, he's 18, right?
I think so, yeah.
If an 18 or 19-year-old kid says he's not ready to be in the NHL, he doesn't want to get drafted, why are you wasting your time? I mean,
very good way of putting it.
He clearly has character issues to work on, like he stated himself. So just let him do that. Why would you want that spotlight really coming to your team? Because it's not good spotlight. It's bad spotlight. Why would you want that coming to your team and kind of causing a disruption in the locker room or on the ice when the guy is clearly saying that he wants to work on himself back in the OHL? Don't draft me. I want to become a better person, work on my character, and just work on everything that I can to be a better person. And the Canadiens just go right out and completely disregard everything he said and draft him. But he's not coming to training camp. So at this point, it's just a huge, huge waste of a draft pick, waste of time, waste of both sides time. And it's crazy that they just thought to themselves that it would still work out and that it would be a good draft pick. Yeah, sure, he's good at hockey, but the guy clearly has issues to work on, and I think he needs to go work on him. And I don't see why the Canadiens drafted him 31st or any team drafted him at all at any position.
And I think the worst part of this is what they said, which is like basically, the reason we took him was because we pretty much knew he was going to get taken in the second round. It was like, okay, so wait, we're gonna not make fun, that's not the right word, but we're gonna crush the Canadiens all week for making this pick, as we should. But we're just kind of let go of the part where they said, like, oh, he was going to get taken before we drafted again, which was 31 picks after, or 32 picks after. That part to me was concerning as well. Yeah, I mean, look, Logan Mailloux was not okay. It was a legitimate crime. But he saw what was going to happen and said, look, I'll renounce myself from this draft and work on it and get it all cleared up. And the victim said she just wanted the heartfelt apology, which she didn't feel she had gotten. And it was like, it really felt like we were close to like, okay, this was terrible, but we've moved on. And now we just have to rehash the whole thing, start from the beginning. And I don't know. It really leaves a pit in my stomach that this kid got drafted at all. And I'm all for second chances. I would have been willing to see him get drafted in 2022. But when I saw his name come across the screen in 2021, I tweeted this out. I want to say it's unbelievable, but it's actually the most believable thing that you could have ever told me, was that somebody was going to take this kid. And I feel bad for her. Obviously, this is not something like, she's never going to live this down. I feel bad for the female, or any employee, honestly, but the female employees specifically are the Montreal Canadiens. How do you look at Marc Bergevin in the eye, who's tied up in the Blackhawks thing, by the way, as he was employed by the Blackhawks at that time, and now he's here drafting this guy. So how does a female employee even look at Marc Bergevin today? I don't know. It's really upsetting, because I think that we had a path here to make it right, and the Canadiens, and honestly, every single team in the NHL blew that up big time. And I don't know. I don't understand why you would take him and then just not say, oh, never mind. Like the prime minister came out and said that we're terrible people, so we're just gonna not have him play. Like, that just shows that you were wrong and you're just very, very weak, in my opinion.
Yeah, they had to have known what was going to happen, and it is unfortunate because it's the dominant story that everyone's talking about from the draft. We shouldn't be talking about this. We should be talking about the 31 other kids who were picked in the first round who fulfilled their lifelong dreams and who could have great NHL careers. But instead, we have to talk about this unfortunate scenario. And yeah, Marc Bergevin, the Canadiens were also, as a team, linked to was maybe going to go for Tony DeAngelo. So, and we know the baggage that comes with him and the backlash that the Hurricanes have received for signing him.